Hello, is anyone out there? Well, bringing it up on my phone. Let's see if anyone shows up. Otherwise, just going to start. Might just be me tonight. Yeah, I see three of you are out there. All right. Well, hello, whoever's out there. I just got a package in the mail from Anthony. Comic Mag Musings. Hello. I haven't been on, I think, for quite a while. I think it's been about 3 months. So, hello to everybody. Oh, I guess the stream shows up there. It looks like YouTube has really changed this. It looks a lot like how the interface on StreamYard works. So that's good. Probably still can't bring other people in, though, would be my guess is the difference. But we still only have 3 on here. Well, it might just be a few of us. Anyway, for those of you who haven't seen it before, this is the comic area. There's the spinner rack. What else we got here? Well, it's just a door. And all my comic stuff's over here. So it's the racks. All my records and all that kind of stuff. So been working from home. I don't know, I'm sure everyone has been. I'm lucky I work for an internet provider, so I can do most everything that I need to from here. I guess before then, I can show you what I got for my birthday. So I'm very fortunate, and my wife indulges my hobby in comic books, and she got me a great gift this year. And I love hardcover books, especially if they are like encyclopedias. And she saw me looking at this in the store one day, and she went and got it. Now, you can see for a size comparison, this thing is gigantic, and this is just the box. But I saw it's even got a carrying handle. So I got this for my birthday, which is St. Patrick's Day, for those of you that don't know, March 17th. So I've had this for a while, and it's giving me a hard time opening it. When I worry about boxing it up, I should just leave it out of the box. I hope everyone is staying healthy out there and safe. You hear about crazy things happening. If you watch the news, you just see people doing stuff that's nuts. And you got to understand things aren't like they normally are. Silver Age Dave. I'm expecting 10 AF-15s. Geek aficionado. Hello, guys. Hola. So anyway, Dave, this is the book that my wife got me. I don't know if you've seen this or if you're even aware of this. Again, this is a book suitable for stopping bullets because of its thickness and home defense. You can knock someone out with it. So if someone tries to break in and get my food stores during these times, they'll be able to stop them. But the thing I love about it is how gigantic the artwork is. So I don't even need to wear my glasses to enjoy this thing. It just has some awesome, like there's from the original Submariner. Knights from Old Designer DS or those guys, they'd be loving this. So it basically goes through Stan Lee's entire career. Here's some Captain America, of course. But I love this thing. I spent hours and hours with it already. So it's nice that, I mean, look at that. That is just gorgeous. Whether you like Avengers #1 or not, look at that. It's gigantic. Everything's like poster size in here. So if you haven't got this book, it's definitely one worth grabbing. I love it. You get into some of the artwork too. That's just amazing. I remember this. I saw this first in Giant Size X-Men 2, but it's a reprint from I think it was like 57 through 59, something like that. Um, but that artwork just blew me away. I bought it, of course, at the drugstore because it had Gil Kane artwork on the outside, and on the inside it was Neil Adams. But it goes all the way through his whole history, and it's a lot of the information that you've seen before. Boy, that's a great looking reproduction of Fantastic Four #1. Look at that. It's awesome stuff. So that was my favorite gift for my birthday. It's not a book you want to carry around with you like to Starbucks or something like that, but I leave it up on the table up in the den, so it's perfect. It actually sits up on the mantle. It's been great. It's been up there since March. Who else we got in here? Silver Age Dave. Pisces. Yes, I'm a Pisces, Dave. The endless struggle. Yeah, it is definitely a gorgeous book. It's weird. I can't tell how many are on here. I turned the phone off, so let's see what that says. I didn't know if it just says there's 6 on here, but I don't know if that's accurate or not. So someone will watch this. I don't know if I'll leave this up or not. But anyway, Anthony sent me a birthday gift, and he let me know about it quite a while ago, and apparently it was on back order, so it arrived today. I got this turned around backwards so you can't see my address, you creepers. And actually had my wife peek at it first because he said there was 2 things, and I only got 1 package, so I checked with him, and she said, no, there's 2 things in there. So anyway, let me take the first one out. Oh, that's awesome. I'll take it out of the package so you guys can see it. Oh, so the panties. Almost literally. Marvel Expressions. That's awesome. Thanks, Anthony. This will definitely get added to the collection. This is charismatic, courageous, crafty, brave. Has them all on here. Confident, angry, happy. I don't know. Would you guys all say Spider-Man's happy? I don't know about that. Stealthy. That is really cool. Thanks, Anthony. That'll get a lot of wear. I wear these around. Of course, I can't show them off now that we can't go out of our houses. But you know, I hadn't left the house for I think it was 3 weeks over the weekend, and this weekend I finally broke that and went out for a little bit. I took the dogs out for a walk for I don't know 45 minutes or so tonight, so that was nice. It's nice being out. I've never been big into crowds anyway, so it's not that big an adjustment for me. I do miss seeing all my family, though, and my friends. We normally do a lot of that kind of stuff, but you got to buckle down and do what's right, and hopefully everyone gets through this okay. I don't personally know anyone that's come down with it, but just try to do what's right, I suppose. Oh, great! This will be on the read list. You got me X-Men: Days of Future Past trade paperback, and I think that's Byrne's final issue there, depicted 143, and that's when everyone leaves Kitty Pryde behind because I think she doesn't celebrate Christmas, so she's at home. And if I remember right, that's a demon that got loose way back in maybe 95, I think. It ends up killing some teenagers, and she has to fight it alone. I remember reading that when I was a kid. It reminded me a lot of Alien. The first one with Sigourney Weaver running through the spaceship at the end. Yeah, there it is. They're showing that. I liked that because it really read like a horror story when I was a kid. It's great. This was when John Byrne was, I think, at his peak. I appreciated his artwork a lot more during this than later years. I think by the time he got to Namor in the 90s, I didn't appreciate his artwork anymore. I think it had really degraded by then. But some people, maybe that's their favorite era. But this is great. Thanks, Anthony. This will get read for sure. This will find its place over in my reading rack there. This time has gotten me. I've read pretty much everything now. I'm all caught up on everything. The one thing that took me a long time to read, I don't know if you remember the last opening I had, or it might have been the time before this. Silver Age Guy, not Silver Age Dave, but Silver Age Guy gave me that Fantastic Four book, and it kind of goes through their history, and it's got really small squares in it, and it's super information dense. But that you have to really buckle down when you read that because it's a lot. You know, almost felt like you're back in college reading the history book, but it was actually fun history. Who else we got on here? Oh, the Dorkeries. You guys have lots of unboxings. I think you guys actually might unbox more than Mike and I do. We Mike notified me earlier today. We have 7 shipments in all on their way back. So I think some as early as next week, if I remember right. I'd have to pull the text up, but basically from now to like the first week of June, I think the way it works out, we have almost one every single week coming in. So I don't know how we're going to do that with what's going on. I don't know if me and Mike get Tyvek suits and masks and we do the unboxing that way. You guys have one coming tomorrow. All right. Yeah, I've been doing the thing a little bit where like if the FedEx and UPS guy came today, so I just let the stuff sit on the porch. That guy got here like at 8:30 or so. I went out after lunch and picked it up. So I don't know. I am doing everything that they tell you. My wife's a nurse, so we have tons of everything you could think of as far as masks and gloves and all that stuff. And I think we have 3 first aid kits in the house. So I've always kind of been a prepper a little bit anyway. So I have probably at least, I don't know, a month and a half of food here, lots of water, all that kind of stuff. But that just, I've always done that. So this isn't that big of an adjustment to me. I don't go to the LCS other than just to kind of see the owner and, we do sales and stuff like that there. I don't have a pull list. I haven't had a pull list for a long time. I read almost exclusively now trade paperback. I did read digital for about 2 years, but I miss having something in my hand. And I'm on the computer a lot for work, so the last thing I want to do when I want to relax is fire up a laptop or a tablet and get on and do it that way. So I don't know how many. Johnny Dakota. That's a great name. Do you live in Dakota, or is that just a name you picked up? I have watched some YouTube, and what I found I do more now is if I have it on, it's almost like a podcast, which some of the longer YouTubers like Damien, Sleepy Reader, I always forget what his handle is, and then of course Silver Age Dave making his first appearance last week. That was a great video where he walked around and showed his room, and I think a lot of people got a kick out of seeing him for the first time. Yeah, I'll say, Dave, you look exactly like I thought you would. Your voice fits your face pretty well. That's not always the case with people. When the first time I saw Alan Garrett was the same thing. He looked pretty much like I thought he would. He looks pretty much like he sounds, and he made his first appearance on that video I did this summer. And trying to think. Oh yeah, Bub was on there. Who else was on there? There was a bunch of people that I don't think have ever been seen on YouTube, just heard, and they were all seen on that Heroes Con, which I'm kind of bummed they haven't announced yet, but I got a feeling they're going to push that back. I think a lot of things are going to get pushed back. Black Widow movie and the Eternals movie now I think they said isn't going to come out to 2021 now. So the stockpile of Eternals that myself and others have will probably just have to wait. Wobbles, I haven't heard from you in a long time. I think you live in Canada, right? If I remember right. So, yep, those are the gifts I got for those of you who got here late. Anthony sent me 2 great birthday gifts. My birthday was back in March, but these were on back order. So he got me Days of Future Past, which is great. I can't wait to read it. I haven't read it in probably 10 years. So I'm excited to read that. And it looks like it actually goes for more than just those 2. So yeah, it definitely does. Cool. And then he got me a really cool shirt. And it has a character for each expression. It's pretty cool. I love that kind of stuff. It's fun to wear, walk around with it. People, I can remember it was hard to find clothes like that 20 years ago. You didn't see shirts and things like that often. Now it's everywhere. I mean, you can't go to any store without seeing some kind of Marvel superhero stuff. Yep. And then the other thing I got, my wonderful wife gave me, is Oh, this is a workout. It's the Stan Lee storybook, and it's written by Roy Thomas, who I met at HeroesCon one year. He bumped into me, almost dropped his bagel on the floor. I don't know if any of you have met Roy Thomas. He's kind of little. He's probably only about 5'2", 5'3", older guy, and he had his coffee and a bagel, and someone bumped into me, and I turned around, and it was Roy Thomas. So it was kind of funny. And for the briefest moment, he had the look of terror in his eyes because there was, 3,000 people waiting in line behind me. I had gotten through. Mike had gotten me a vendor pass, so I was kind of in the back alley hallway, like where only presenters and dealers are supposed to be. And I think he was afraid I was going to say, "Hey, you're Roy Thomas," and then everyone would have came flying over and grabbed him. So he just kind of looked at me like, "Please don't say who I am. Please don't say who I am." So we shared a moment. It was nice. Wow. With Mags reading material. Yeah, it's definitely a home gym. It's not a lap, not a book you're going to read in your lap. You definitely want to have it laying down on a table. I have a big, kind of an irregular, rough cut wood table in my den, and I just open it up and I can go through that for hours. I'm just imagining it when I was a kid. If I had gotten something like that quarter, I would have failed every class because all I would have done was read that. Yes. Well, thanks everyone for showing up. I don't really have much else to show you. I just thought I'd pop on. I just want to see how everyone's doing. I hope everyone's enjoying the videos that I try to put out. I've been trying to put out more lately. I think 2 weeks in a row. Well, this would be the third video, I guess. I don't know how entertaining this one's going to be. 17 minutes. That's pretty good. So, I have a bunch of other ideas of stuff that I'm going to do and put out. And of course, the CGCs, Mike and I are going to do anyway. It's something we always did even before I started making YouTube videos. We would always do our own unboxings, and we never looked up the grades, so we didn't know what they were till the moment we took them out of the box. And hey, Cougar, how are you? I just watched a little bit of your video the other day. For some reason, your cabinet video popped up in my queue, and I hadn't watched it in a long time. So I put that on, and then there was another guy who said he was inspired by you, and it put that in my queue. I think his name was Space Baby, because I think he used to be on Wednesday nights too. He used to watch us, but he built one. And then they had the original one. I can't remember what the guy's name is, but it's the only comic video the guy has. It's like 8 years old. I think that's the first one I ever saw where he built his comic wall thing where you pull these drawers out right out of the wall. That one's pretty cool. Faulkner, I think his name is, or it might be. Cougars is still the best, though. If you want to actually learn how to build it, he shows you how to in a whole series on how to build the thing, which it probably seems like it might be easy, but I built stuff like that, cabinets, especially with slides. It's very difficult to get those dialed in just right. Is if you bend them or tweak them at all, the soft close doesn't work. And I'm sure, Cougar, you can speak up and tell everyone how much cussing went on when you made that. That might be something Silver Age Dave could attack. He likes doing that kind of stuff. Time for family stuff, so gotta run. Talk with you soon. Good night, everyone. Good night. That was very Lawrence Welk-esque, Dave. It was very nice of you. I'm glad you all have showed up. We can hang out for a little bit. Yeah, Chris Faulkner was the first one. Yeah, that's the one I saw. I was thinking. That was one of the first videos I think I ever saw comic related on YouTube. I want to say it was like 2015. I think I just typed comic books, and that came up, and a few other things came up, and then I found a cleaning video that Nick had done, and that I watched that video, and then a bunch of other ones populated, and that basically was how I found this whole little community. It's kind of off in the distance. It's not part of, there's some channels out there that have over 1 million subscribers, and it's just sensationalist guys reading about books, and I guess people like those channels. It's good for them, but I don't know that they don't fit into this type of community. But that's how I got into this, and then I found Anthony, and I found Dr. Von Chilla, and what was it, Dr. Silver Age, and there's a whole bunch of them. Is it Count Von Strange? Anyway, there was a bunch of guys that a lot of them I don't think are much on anymore, or at least I don't see them as much. Brooke from England was on. He had, what is his channel used to be called? Because he changed it. It was like Space Age Surfer or something. And but when I first came on, it was something else by the host of Hogarth or something like that. It was. I can't remember what it was. Um, but it was different back then. There wasn't quite as many people that had channels. There was a lot of viewers, but it was seemed like there was a whole lot less channels. And I guess it's what the people that pay attention to this call it was the second wave of YouTube people when I came in basically and saw. I first started doing videos I think in 2017. I think it's been 3 years now. So and thanks to everybody that supports me and subscribes. I did pass 1,000, which I had no idea was ever going to happen. And I want to remember something. I wanted to thank the 1,000th person, and I saved his note here when because you get notified. His name is Duncan Hardy. So Duncan, if you watch this, if you're on now, thank you. You were the 1,000th subscriber on my channel, so that was pretty cool. Doctor Strange saying, okay, that's what it was. Yeah, I knew Brooke was into Marvel Silver Age. One of the first videos I think I remember seeing, he did like a rap montage, video montage about Nick, and it was it was really funny. Uh, so I was just so surprised that there were so many comic people out there because when I was in comics, it definitely was you saw guys at the LCS a little bit and you talked, but no one you didn't really have this kind of interaction with people about comic books, or at least I didn't. And it was I had my brother and my cousin when we were kids, but as I got older, it was just really me reading them. And my son got into it a little bit when he was old enough, but by then I had already started getting out of it. So I stopped. I stopped really collecting in the hobby in '93. And then I didn't come back to 2013. I started back in again. So I was gone for 20 years. My books were boarded and bagged and kept in a cool, dark place. So and most of them are gone now. For those who don't know, I started purging my book. I'd say probably in 2000, late 2017. Or early 2018 in force. And the plan was to support my hobby and get rid of just thousands of books that I hadn't looked at for 30 years and go after the books that I always wanted, like the posters that I had behind me. I have been able to get a lot of really great Silver Age keys and just a lot of keys in general, books that I always wanted. I do still have my what I call landfill collection, and that's it's about two and a half boxes of old books from the late '60s, early '70s, probably up to about 77, 78. I'd consider, my original collection. Um, but I still have them all, and I love them, and I never get rid of them. Silver Age Surfer, that's it. You're right. Man Cave Chronicles, hello. 7HR47, 7 Hero Comics. I don't recognize some of these names, but I don't always look. I don't do a live show anymore, so I don't recognize as many. But thanks everyone for showing up. We could do a quick Q&A if anyone has questions. Oh, you were out from 90 to 2016, so you were gone even longer. Yeah, 1990 McFarlane Spider-Man. Yeah. Yeah, it just life happens. I started, I was married and I started having kids in 90 was it 94, 95, 97, 2000. So you're at work, you're building houses, you're doing all that stuff, and you just something falls away, and then the kids get a little older and you have a little bit more time again. It's different though this time. I'm not as much I don't go back and read the older stuff. And I made a couple of videos about how you can chase nostalgia, but what I found pretty quickly when I came back in 2013, I was buying because I obviously you had disposable income when you're older, and I didn't have eBay back then, and there sure as heck wasn't shows like there are now, and there wasn't auctions, and I was just comic drunk when I first came back, and I was just buying everything. I was getting every book that I thought I ever wanted, and as I did that, I started realizing I wasn't enjoying it as much, and it started to kind of feel like it was a job. So I stopped what I was doing and changed my course, and really went after books I really, really wanted. I've always wanted, and I'd say I'm more of a cover collector now than anything. I have every Marvel comic digitally from was it 2003 back. There was a company called Git Corp that came out in the late '90s, early 2000s, and they licensed Marvel comics, and they scanned every single Marvel comic from 1961 through 2003, I think it was. and I have Fantastic Four, all of them, Doctor Strange, all the Thors, all the Avengers, all the X-Men, everything, Captain America, all of them, Spider-Man, uh, and I have them all digitally, and they're great. I can read them anytime I want, and I have a lot in trade as well. But I find that I'm enjoying the covers more now, and oddities like treasuries. I have the full Marvel collection of treasuries, and I'd say about half the DCs. Um, and then I just have a ton of trades. What I've been doing lately with the trades, my son got Savage Avengers, and if you haven't read that yet, that's a lot of fun. To a certain degree, you just kind of got to throw what you know about continuity and things like that out the window, and just enjoy it. The interaction with Conan and Wolverine's hysterical. Um, it's a good read. I don't know. I think it's continued on. Um, but it's fun. If you haven't read it yet, read it. But I read stuff like that. I've been reading. I read Gideon Falls. I read both Moonshines. I read some of the was it Bloodshot and the Valiant books, and they were okay. The artwork is more entertaining than anything in them. There's really great splash pages. The stories are okay. I just kind of feel like they're derivative. What I've really been getting into lately, though, are the Bronze Age DC horror books. The cover art is fantastic. You got a lot of Neil Adams and Bernie Wrightson. Even Jim Aparo did some great work. Who's the other guy? Kaluta. And then some of the older, like Weird War, I've been getting into too. And those stories are just a lot of fun. They're quick. They're little stories. Uh, the horror magazines or the horror books, comic books actually were great back then. I remember as a little kid because I was some of those I was probably only 5 6 years old, and I can remember picking them up and starting to look through them, and I'm like by page 2 or 3, I'm like, nope, this is getting this is getting too hairy, and I remember putting it back on there, and then picking up a good old Captain America or Spider Man, and and forgetting about that I saw somebody chopping somebody up or a zombie eating somebody, but uh, obviously now that's a lot more fun to read. Kingdom Comics. Hello, John Hicks, Joe 47771. Frank, yes, Frank is definitely enjoying this. He's been tormenting me. Tech 31 kid. I am happy and healthy. I thought of you the other day, actually. I saw, I forget where it was. It might have been on NPR news feed, but they were talking about a comic shop, and I couldn't tell, and I couldn't remember the name of the place where you knew the guy out where I was in Arizona. I think it was Arizona, and I met the guy, and he remembered you. Um, and I actually got a Journey into Mystery comic there, but I couldn't remember what it was, and it's just sad what's happening with the LCSs. I don't have a pull list, but I do go there and I buy back issues and stuff like that, and I try to support them as much as I can. If I'm going to buy something, like I'll go buy trades at the local things instead of just buying them online. Even though it might be $1 or 2 more at the local shop, I don't care. I mean, I can get my hands on them. Plus, I feel like I'm supporting the local thing. I don't see a way that a lot of them are going to make their way back. Well, most of them are month to month, or even week to week. They count on that big cash slug they get on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and that's gone now. And I don't know what's going to happen with print books. I don't know what's going to happen with digital. I will say if they go digital only and they don't lower the price on it, that just seems really greedy to me. I don't fully understand how they're produced, but it sure seems like that. Uh, having something digital should be a lot less money than all the cost in making paper and shipping paper all over the place and stocking the paper and the ink and everything. That all goes away. Really, then all you have to do is pay the talent and I guess some marketing. But for the most part, these books kind of sell themselves. So we'll see what happens. Things change. I don't think you'll ever see. You hear people saying, "Oh, they're never going to print comics again." I don't think you'll ever see that. But I don't know if it's ever going to come back as popular. It's not like it was thriving anyway. It's not like most of the shops were thriving anyway. I do know, a few, not around here, but in other towns not too far from here. I know they've closed down. So um, I don't know. 29 minutes. What else? What's everyone got going? I hope everyone's doing well. NC Slapjacks. That's a good name. Gamma Comics and Collectibles. I don't know if you're the same. Used to be a Gamma something on there, but I don't know if that was you. I don't want to. If I missed you, I'm sorry. Even with my glasses on, this font on here is extremely small. I was always one of those people that said, "Oh, that's never going to happen to me. I'm never going to need glasses," but I rely on them more and more now. I can see pretty good, but I can't read that font. It's too small without them, and I can't read books without them anymore either. So that's annoying. So after a while, I don't like how glasses feel. But I've been watching a lot of Netflix. I've been watching a lot of TV in general. Kind of getting caught up, which is great. Um, Trying to think of what I don't know anyone's watching Walking Dead. I watched it again. I'm kind of just watching it just to finish it. I hope next season's the last season because I don't really enjoy it so much more now. It's just I feel like I have so much invested in it. I feel like I gotta finish it off and watch it. Um, what else have I seen? I hope Umbrella Academy comes out again. I enjoyed that. Lock and Key was really good. I thought that was really well done. Um, Gamma Comics shops by me are taking phone orders, and then you can drive up. Yeah, that's great, but the only thing is that there's no new books, right? And I don't think there's, like, anyone that's like a Funko Pop collector. I think Diamond distributed all that stuff, so that's all gonna dry out. Um, it just stinks, but there could be worse things. I mean, there's people right now lost their jobs, scrambling for just to keep food on the table. There's people that have people close to them passed away, so I try to keep that all in perspective. I don't wanna get heavy on this. I'm sure people tuned into this to get away from Fox News and all that stuff that's going on. It seems like it's around the clock. The president or somebody's on talking about stuff going on. It did look like the markets recovered a little bit, and Nick and others have done a great job chronicle, telling you what's going on with the comic market. Um, I do buy a lot. I haven't bought lately. I have noticed a dip in the really big keys, like Amazing Fantasy 15, Fantastic Four 1, Hulk, books like that. You can look at any of the auctions. You can look at sold eBay prices. If you use like Go Collect or GPA, you can definitely see there's a trend happening. But that was starting to happen a little bit before this whole pandemic thing hit anyway. So I don't know. This obviously accelerated it, but I still think it was going to go down anyway. So I'm kind of just sitting back waiting to see what happens. Like I said, I think right now there's some fantastic deals on books that are if you're looking at stuff that's under $20 right now, stuff is really cheap. I have been buying stuff at really low prices that in the past I was paying 25, 30, $40 for. Now I'm getting it for 15, $16, $17. So it is a great time now if you have some mid-range books that you're looking to fill some of your runs in with. It's definitely good, and I've seen a lot of dumping, even higher end books. It seems like every weekend you can go on eBay and someone will have all their Silver Age slabs up for sale all at once. I think it's like they're just like, that's it, I'm out. I'm going to get out. I think a lot of people are fearful that the whole bottom is going to fall out of the market like it did in the late '90s. Um, we'll see. We'll see what happens. The books that I have, I love, and I don't plan on selling them, so I don't care. I do have other books that I do plan on selling, and I'm fortunate enough that I don't actually need that money to keep the roof, over my head, keep my lights on. So those books will just stay in the box, and when the market bounces back, they'll be up there to sell. What I have done is I put a lot of stuff up, and I just leave it up at the price, buy it now price, and I ignore anybody that wants to make offers on it. I don't have it set up for offers. And for anyone that's selling books, I would say that look at what you're comfortable selling a book for, list your price, and then that's it. And don't worry about it. If it doesn't sell, it doesn't sell. It's sitting in a box. It's not gonna hurt you any. What I wouldn't do is I wouldn't go out there and liquidate all my stuff at a really low price. Um, you're better just to hold and play the long game at that point. If you missed your window, you missed your window. It's just the way it is. To a certain degree, I think I have in the neighborhood of 20 some Eternals books all slabbed, and I'm just going to hang on to them. I'll have to wait now until the trailer's released. I like to sell between the trailer and the teaser trailer, and then the final trailer. I feel like is the best time to sell. Sometimes after the main trailer, but in any way, Daniel. I do think they will, Daniel. I do think that I don't think there's the end, and it's like anything. It's not like a lot of times there's any real reason behind it. If you think about the stock market, a lot of times there's no reason for why things go up or down the way they do. This stock market crash is really there's no financial reason for it. Like there was in 2008, 2009, you had the subprime mortgage lending that went on, and that's what caused the crash. This is totally artificial. We caused this. I mean, they stopped industry basically. They turned the country off. So I have a pretty good feeling when it turns back on, it's going to roar back. So. Um, I don't have a ton of separate investments. I'm all invested in mutual funds and things like that. So um, I'm just waiting. I don't plan on retiring for at least another 15 years. So it's not like I was going to withdraw that money this year anyway. I think those are people that were going to retire short term, I think got hurt. Same thing with comics. If there's guys that decided they wanted to get out this year, like right now, probably I would wait. I don't think it's a good time to sell your stuff. For sure, if you do sell anything, don't auction it. Whatever you do, don't put stuff up for auction because you're going to get super low prices for things. Pick your price, set your price, and leave it there. The market will come back. It might take a while, but it will come back. But in answer your question, yes, that's what I'm waiting for. There are a handful of books. Amazing Fantasy 15 is a book that I targeted this year that I plan on buying this year. So um, and I didn't plan it because of this. I planned on doing it anyway. So that's definitely a book I'm going to grab. And then there's some other ones that I'll look at getting. I'm always on the lookout. I mean, I have Fantastic Four one and a lot of the other ones already. Um, but if I see good price at a higher grade or same grade and it just looks better, I'm kind of becoming a page snob as well. I like white pages or as close as I can get to white pages. Um, I joke in my videos a lot, but it's true. I would almost give up a half a grade point. Like I would take an 8.0 white pages over an 8.5 with off white pages. Um, I like the appearance of them. They just look better to me. I like the brightness. Um, but that being said, Silver Age classics, the keys, anything 4.0 or 4.0 ish, I think is a great goal to attain. For me, the bronze stuff, sevens are fine. I don't need the 9.0. I don't need 9.2s. I don't need any of that stuff. I mean, if you're talking the Silver Age classics, it's buying anything over 4.0, you're talking more than 20 grand usually. So um, it's just more than I want. Well, I've been on for 37 minutes. But Gamma, you got quick fingers. You must be on the keyboard. I couldn't type that fast on a phone. Seems like many people are on eBay. Prices seem to be going up, not down, for auctions at least. But I can definitely see price eventually coming. Yeah, maybe I don't know. I'm only speaking from what I don't have like a giant market watch thing. I don't get as intently into it as Nick does. I just know for the books I've been looking at in the last 6 months, they've been going down anyway. But the last 3 weeks, stuff is just plummeting. The Bronze Age stuff that I've been looking at. I just really been looking at classic covers and things that I love. I think I showed one off last time. I don't know. Yeah. Like this Nick Fury Shield book number 6. It's my favorite Steranko cover. And I can remember in the past, in this grade, this book was probably anywhere from 60 to 80 bucks. And I got this for less than 20. So it's a beautiful book. It's probably an 8.0. But it's stuff like that's out there now. I think the keys are always going to be, you're always going to have a lot of eyes on keys. I know my stuff, I'm just selling regular buy it now prices. I've been selling a lot of other stuff too, a lot of electronics and stuff like that. It seems like as soon as I put it up, it sells. So that's great too. But for those that got here late, I did open up a gift from Anthony. And if he's watching, thanks, Anthony. He got me the trade paperback, Days of Future Past. And it also has, I think, up to 143 in it, which is the last of the burn run, and a super cool T-shirt. So that's a lot of fun. But I hope everyone's happy and healthy out there. Just stay safe. I think for a lot of guys in the comic community, you're kind of used to not going out a lot anyway, right? I think a lot of us do a lot of reading. I think you're drawn to the hobby because you don't necessarily have to be around a lot of people. Yeah. Now you like Foom. Yeah, he's got some great Foom covers. The Hulk one's really good. Steranko really did a good job with Hulk now that I think about that. That one annual where the logo's coming down on top and is for a classic for sure. his work in the X-Men books was great. If you think about it, though, for a guy that really only did, I think, interiors for less than 70 books, I can't think of anyone that is well thought of that has done less than that guy. I mean, Jack Kirby drew for decades. Same thing with John Buscema and uh, Ramita and all those guys. They drew for decades on really big books. Gil Kane, of course. Um, think of how many books Neil Adams drew in the 70s for both titles. Yeah, he was prolific. Um, yeah, and I've met him a couple times too. He's a funny guy, very animated. I'm planning an Avengers 1, Daredevil 1 next few weeks. 3-0 range figure I'll need. Yeah, that sounds about right. An Avengers, I'd say you could get that less than 2 grand right now. Daredevil way under 2 grand for a 3-0. I was looking at like mid-level books, like the first appearance of Hawkeye, Tales of Suspense 57, and I think that book was, at least I remember seeing it floating in a 3040, well over $600, and I'm pretty sure you can get that book now for probably less than $500. You just gotta watch it. I will say, and I was on, I think it was the No Faces chat. I was kind of commenting, and while I was on the chat, I routinely I'll go on eBay and I just type comic books, and I want to see how many comes up. When I first started doing it, it was less than 2 million, so that was back in 2013. Um, as recently as a month ago, I did it, and it might have been 3.1, 3.2. During that show I did it, it was 4.7 million comic book listings. Now I didn't go in and look; they may not all be comic books, and some may be figurines and stuff. But the point is, that's a huge shift. That's more than a quarter more books listed. So I haven't done it recently, but I won't be surprised if it peaks over 5 million. And if you follow supply demand, if there's that much supply out there, is there enough demand to support it? If the answer is no, well then the only way that those books move is by price. So I would say eventually that books are going to go down. I do think there's a lot of people dumping. One, because they're scared, they think the market's going to fall out, or two, they actually just need the money. They just need the money to get along until these checks come in from the government, or they get picked back up at work again, or the restaurant that they worked in opens up again, or whatever, the factory or whatever goes on. Uh, I'm fortunate enough that I work for a company. We do internet. We provide internet to people, fiber optic, and I can work from home indefinitely. I really would never need to go back if I didn't need to. So I'm very fortunate. But my wife's a nurse, and the surgical center she works at is elective surgery. So they shut down. They said until future, furlough is what they call it. So it's, you still have a job, but you're not going to get paid basically until they open back up again. So I understand that. And if you think about it, there's households where both people are either unemployed or furloughed, and they have kids. So when it comes down to it, you'll do anything to keep the lights on, keep food on the table. So I feel bad for people. I can't imagine how gut wrenching that is, spending 20, 30 years building your collection and then having to liquidate it just to pay your bills. That stinks. So I think a lot of that's what's going on. But I do think a lot of it is people that possibly are collectors but also sell. I can say I don't know too many people anymore that aren't both. I can't think of hardly any other than like Silver Age Dave and Alan Garrett, After Comics. But most everyone I know, either on YouTube or just in person, uh, everyone seems like they're selling. So I think when people buy now, they always have an eye for selling. They always want to get a good deal. It used to be you just want a good deal just because you felt good about it and you could get more. But now it seems like, I don't know, people are more worried about resell. If I buy something for myself and I know it's for me, I don't plan on reselling it. So as long as it's a good, straight, nice, clean book, I don't mind paying up for it. But if it's, if it is to turn a profit, well, yeah, we all want a good deal. Everyone wants a good deal, right? Well, who else is here? Miguel. Hey. Oh, let's see. Miguel H. Hey, Luther, what do you think of the potential Fantastic Four 5? Is it hard to find in mid grade? I wouldn't say it's hard to find, but you're going to pay a lot for that book. That book, even before the whole Fox deal, was always sought after. Doctor Doom is just a huge, favorite character of people, and that book, that's that whole series. Actually, I'd say Fantastic Four 9 and back. It just seems like the paper quality and just the construction of the books wasn't great. So to find a higher grade, I think is going to be tough. I think that's true of a lot of the Silver Age, early Silver Age books. Um, I don't think people took as good a care of things until whenever the Overstreet Guide came out, which in 1970, I think, when that came out. It seems like that really turned things. And then whenever Robert Bell or whoever it was first got the bags out there, that really got people thinking about the quality too. Yeah, Doom is huge. People love Doctor Doom. I'd say that's one of the villain books that you could invest in. Typically, you don't want to invest in villain books because after they're in a movie or after they're used up in a run, they're that they definitely diminish. I'll be interested to see what happens to Taskmaster after the Widow movie. Um, Marvel definitely has had a penchant for killing the main villain in the story arc, which is not good for a comic investor. I mean, if you remember what happened with Ultron, um, that book just skyrocketed. I can remember it was Avengers 54, 55, and then after the movie it plummeted, and pretty much all of the Spider-Man villains followed the same arc. So um, Spider-Man, though, is one of the few books that I'd say if you can find any Spider-Man Silver Age book, especially 50 and back, and you can get it for 30% under fair market value, just grab it because that's a fantastic deal. That's a series, and I'd say the earlier Fantastic Four are probably like that too. 50 and back, same thing. Are definitely good books. They're fun to have. The great artwork. Um, the story concepts aren't bad. I mean, some of yes, they're kind of a little bit janky because they weren't written really for adults, but the concepts are pretty solid still. And it's what all this movies and stuff we're watching is based off of. But uh, it is kind of cliche and maybe corny. But if you're going to invest in comics, I always say buy something you're not going to mind hanging on to. That's why guys that buy classic cars, I get it, or they're in the Harley Davidsons or Indians or whatever classic motorcycles because at the end of the day, if it doesn't sell, who cares? You still have that thing, and it's a lot of fun. I guess that's why I'm not into the variant market. One, I don't understand it. The other reason I don't like investing in variants is it's such a quick turn because it seems like the things that were hot 2 weeks ago are completely forgotten about because now there are some hot books that just fell out. So there's obviously some of those that still linger out there, but I'd say for the most part, you got to be really on it and trade quickly. That's like being a day trader. It just takes the fun out of it for me. I like hunting in the wild. Mike and I'll find these great raw books that maybe need a little help and clean them and Mike presses them up awesome and then we get them slabbed and I generally sell my books for under fair market value. I can make a decent profit and buy more books. That's great and that's what I do. Some people get irked by it. There's guys that don't like that people sell in the hobby, but my answer to them is if no one ever sold, how would you ever buy anything, right? I would rather buy from a fellow collector than a dealer any day. So just my feeling. Yeah, Magneto. I think they need to let Magneto sleep a little bit there. I'd like to see him not use Magneto as much as I think Doctor Doom's a cool Fantastic Four villain. I don't think they should start with him. I think they should do something else. I mean, they've already used that villain twice and it hasn't gone well. Um, there's 100 other directions they could go with the Fantastic Four that I think they should look at first. And it wouldn't surprise me if they were introduced kind of like how some Marvel did it with some of the other characters with not they would appear not in their own book, which is or in their own movie. I'm sorry, like Black Panther. I think that was a cool way of doing it because that's how it happened in the comic books. It wasn't often that, at least once that they got rolling, that a character would start off with their own book right away. I'm thinking of like, well, I guess it happened a little bit. Luke Cage had his own, but I mean, it's not that common. They usually premiered in a book that didn't have their title on it, like Ghost Rider or Iron Fist and guys like that. Pretty cool. Galactus, maybe. Yeah, Galactus is pretty cool. I don't know if they're going to come back with uh, a big bad villain again like that. We'll see what happens. The Eternals. We'll see. I don't know what the plan is for that. I haven't really looked into it. I like to kind of be surprised by that. I don't want to speculate and ruin the movie for myself. My guess is they're going to have the Celestials obviously involved, and they hinted at that a little bit in the whole Avengers Endgame run. We'll see. We'll see where that goes. I always thought the Celestials were a cool idea. When they'd show up, it was always a big thing, and it was frightening when they would show up. All right, everybody. Big clock in the wall says 50 minutes. I think I'm going to call it quits. I'm going to go watch something on Netflix like everybody else. I'm amazed that Netflix servers have not crashed. I've been watching a lot on Amazon as well. Um, there's a lot of really good movies out there. Netflix has put out a lot of, I think, really good original content that I've enjoyed. If you haven't watched Ozark at all or season three, watch it. It's great. I finished it. It's awesome. Um, Other one that was pretty good was Altered Carbon. I enjoyed season one. I did not enjoy season two at all. I thought it was campy. I didn't really like it. I was disappointed because it was Anthony Mackie was in it. I thought that would boost it up, but I didn't enjoy it. I couldn't wait for it to be over. And I think I'm in the minority there. I think a lot of people like two better than one. Um, but Lock and Key is great too. If you haven't seen that, watch that. That's a lot of fun. And Umbrella Academy was obviously fun. And I see that. What's it called? Love, Death, and Robots. They have a season two coming out, so I'm excited about that. That's the anthology of several different types of animation. Um, they're really good. I mean, some of them get a little bit weird. They're a little bit heavy metalish, is what they're reminding me of, where you have like over sexualized robots and stuff like that. It's kind of creepy, but yeah, yeah. Ozark was fantastic. Oh, I watched Schitt's Creek. I don't know if anyone else does. They finished season six. The series is over. I enjoyed the heck out of that. Eugene Levy is great. Um, the show is really good. Catherine O'Hara, the whole cast is really fun. So um, I recommend it to a lot of people. It's definitely quirky. It's a comedy, but it's great. You know, I hope that people are taking this time away from other people and realize how much they actually miss people, and they can be more respectful and think of others first beside yourself. um, I think it helps everything get better and get back on track, and uh, everyone's going to need a helping hand to get through this. I got a feeling. So anyone anyway, stay safe out there. I'll see y'all, and remember, love what you have, not what you want. Hey everybody.